What's going on? How's it going? Scott here, and on this channel I talk about health, wellness, spirituality, conspiracies, all that sort of thing. So today in this video I want to talk about psychosis. So in 2022 of April, I had a drug-induced psychosis that lasted approximately 3 to 4 weeks. It started off by me being addicted to smoking weed every day, or poppers, so it's tobacco or cigarette with weed, and I would smoke about 200 poppers every single day. I was drinking hard liquor multiple times a week, and I just started getting into taking Xanax. So I got it from a dealer I had at the time. I think I took 2 or 3 Xanax total. I was like crushing NyQuil pills, snorting them, and I also got a hold of acid. So I ended up taking 1 dose of acid complete. I think it was 350 UGs total, and I cut it up into 3 different pieces. And by this time I was staying up like 2-3 nights in a row. The pandemic just started, so I was in the house and always on my computer watching certain like spiritual videos. I just started kind of getting into that thing. And then the one night I decided to take the acid. So I took a third of the acid, and over like that night I didn't really get a trip. I ended up going straight into a psychosis, and I thought I was Jesus. I thought I was a modern day reincarnation of Jesus. And my journey now was to be the prophet and like heal people, save the world from satanic people and from celebrities because they're evil and this and that. And I started with being in my bedroom. I would organize every single thing because whatever was in this bedroom, I could control in the outside world. So I started by like taking my Buddha, because I was like, we need friends, we need buddies. And I was like, okay, do that. Love. So I had like this heart-shaped thing. I put that in. I organized certain things. I had a bent piece of metal and was like, time was bent in the past, but now it's going to be straight in the future. And then to finish this like little ritual ceremony off, I had to be crucified like Jesus, but in the modern day. So in my head, I was like, I don't really want to die on the cross. So what can I do that's modern? So I took a nail, a 2-inch nail, and I put it through like a military tool or something that looked like a cross. I put my hand on the cigar box, which I actually have over here. I put my hand on this, and then I stabbed the nail through my hand. So I just put my arm super far up, put my hand here, stabbed it into it. I was hoping to go straight through, but it landed about right here. It went about halfway in. I screamed, and then I pulled it out. I like raised my arm up like this. I was like, ah! I screamed real loud. My mom came up running, and it didn't bleed for like the first 5 seconds. And because my hand was above my heart, it took a few seconds for the blood to pump out, but I felt super relieved after that. I felt like I was healed. I felt like demons were released from my body. I got my soul back in. I became super light, and then my mom patched me up, whatever. And then shortly after, I believe it was the next day, I obviously still believe this. I'm watching videos all night long. I'm meditating on my third eye and healing my chakras with weed. I'm like sprinkling weed all over my body, that sort of thing. And then I go to the lake. So I walk down to the lake. I'm in shorts, and it's cold out here in Canada. So it's like pretty freezing at the time still. I'm in shorts, a tank top, a Kate Spade blanket, these necklace bead things that I have. I'm walking, like waving this blanket around. And every church I pass by, there's like 2 or 3. I'm like bowing down. People are looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm like, they're going to know I'm Jesus soon. So I get to this certain spot. There's 2 spray painted aliens on the ground. One like green one pink one, for like male, female. And it's on a drain that is about like 15 feet off the ground. The waves are crashing against it. There's also a tunnel at the bottom of it. So I'm sitting there for a few minutes, meditating. I'm like, what do I have to do to go to the next phase, the next initiation of being the modern day reincarnation of Jesus? So I had to jump off it. And there was 2 outcomes. One was I turn into an angel if I die and come back as like angel Jesus, modern day Messiah, that sort of thing. Or the second one was I just survived and the sea parts because I'm also Moses. And throughout this whole journey too, I was also looking a lot of biblical things up. So I'm like, I have no logic. I'm completely out of it. I'm very spiritual, very religious at this point, and like, I think I'm Jesus. I know I'm Jesus. I don't just think I know, and everything has no logic, but it makes sense of what I'm doing. So I ended up running off this cliff, spinning around in the air, and hoping that something good would come out of it. So I end up splashing into the water, and it hurts because I'm 15 feet up in the air. And I crash in the water on my back. I hit the ground Luckily, I didn't pass out, because if I passed out, well, I wouldn't be here today. Because the waves would have fucking taken me away and I would have been drowned. And I would have like drowned in the water. So I came back up. I'm terrified. I think I'm going to get sucked out. I'm like, I'm going to die. These waves are going to pull me out. They're too strong, the current. And I run to this drain vent. I scream my buddy's name that was like a best friend of mine at the time, thinking that that drain vent led to his basement where he'd smoke his weed. And obviously he didn't come or hear me, but I thought he did. And then I ended up going to the right of this drain, climbing up straight up a wall of like dirt and leaves and like roots sticking out of this hill, and climb up, and I'm all dirty. I ended up cutting my forehead. I think you can see it still. There's like that little white scar there. I ended up cutting it on the drain when I was like yelling his name, because I was trying to fit through. I was like, I'm gonna have to go through this whole drain to come out somewhere else of the sewers. And but I made it to the top of the hill. I start walking, bowing at people again. I'm covered in blood up here, mud. I'm in my t-shirt. I'm all wet. And I end up making it back to my house. I tell my mom. I think I told my neighbors and shit. And that was like another day of this journey. And throughout the whole next like 2.5, 3 weeks, I would think that I'm a celebrity and actor. I'm going to be the next biggest like celebrity, actor, boxer, Jesus, Messiah, all together. So through that time, I ended up breaking into the wreckage plant that's behind my house, that way out the window. It's like where they auction off cars. I climbed under the fence. I had my machete, and I was breaking in these cars because I thought I was in a zombie apocalypse movie, and everything that I would do, they were filming it to put in the new series of every single show that I was going to be on. And I like The Walking Dead, so that's why I was going to be in a zombie apocalypse movie show. The guy ended up coming, one of the workers, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like just fiending. I'm like trying to find this joint I'm trying to roll. I'm channeling my like best friend's words in my head, and I'm like, okay, what do I do next? And then I'm like saying what like, it was very trippy. And they caught me, so I hop over this barbed wire fence back, and then I book it. Shortly after that, I climb up my window out here, which is 3 stories, onto the roof, which is, it's about like 20 feet off the ground, the roof, maybe 30. And I go to the end of the complex, because I live in a complex, and I'm just like vaping on the roof with my machete, and then I drop the vape, so then I have to get off the building. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? So I'm hanging off the building, scaling it, like in Assassin's Creed. And I'm like, oh shit, this is harder than I thought. So I start scaling to try and land in a bush, but I end up falling. I landed, I stood right back up, and I was like, I didn't feel anything. It's like I transcended pain and injury. I was like, I'm invincible. I am Jesus. This confirmed it. And then a few minutes later, a cop drove by. He was like, yo, what are you doing? And then I booked it, made it back here, my home base, the room. And throughout that, I also trashed the whole fucking house. Like, we had to claim insurance on all the things I broke. I walked one night to a house that was getting built called Planet Homes. So I thought, oh, planet, nice play on words. I'm an alien. It's my house. I own everybody. And my mom is also from England, so she's the monarchy. Like, she's the queen, something, whatever. So she owns everything. She bought everything for me. So I end up walking into this brand new house, just finished getting built. The people are living in it. I walk straight in, put on their slippers and a shirt, I believe maybe pants of theirs. I'm looking at all these things. I look at a banana. I'm like, this is my banana. This is my laptop that's on their counter. This is my white ass couch that I just sit on. I walk through their window, like open the window, walk out onto the balcony. I'm like, this is all mine. And then I end up coming back in, sitting on the couch, and police come in. They're like, who's in there? And I'm like, it's me. This is my house. My mom bought it. And they're like, no, the people upstairs don't say it is. And this is like 3 a.m. too. I didn't know that. I broke all my technology at my house, my TV, my phones, all that. And I ended up getting arrested. They put me in cuffs, took me down to like the downtown station, and they let me go. So I thought nothing of it. A year later, I found out I was facing charges with breaking and entering with intent to steal, which I got on a peace bond, or a divergent, then a peace bond. So I didn't face charges, didn't go to jail, which was a blessing. But that's like a lot of the events that happened. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, what's going on in this world? I'm like, do celebrities drink baby blood? Is there satanics like running the world? Lizard people? What conspiracies are real? What is a conspiracy? Like, what's your third eye? What are your chakras? What are we on a flat earth or a round earth? That's where like the whole spiritual awakening part comes in, because for me, that was like the beginning of the journey. That was me realizing like we are living in some type of a matrix simulation, not being what we're told. You know what I mean? So then 2 years after that led me to the journey of like keep like learning new things. Don't trust everybody. Do your own research and that sort of thing. But the whole psychosis was mainly like bringing certain things out of me, as well as exposing certain things in the world so I can like look at it from a different perspective, like different angle. You know what I mean? And although it was a scary experience, it was fun being in it, in the psychosis. And I've met at least like 5 people that have been in them now, psychosis, and my buddy who told me the first night I was in it that you are in a psychosis. So it's a whole like, it was a whole experience for me that like taught me about addictions, taught me about spirituality, taught me about the world and certain powers that run the world, taught me to do my own research, taught me that the pandemic wasn't exactly what it seems, and go healthier, start focusing on yourself, believing in yourself, positive affirmations, self-love, discipline, work ethic. Like it taught me a whole bunch of things after that, because I went sober. I went and did all these things that like can better me and become the best version of me. And I think that's why sometimes we need these negative events in our life to be the catalyst for a positive change, not just in our own lives, but in the whole world, because that's what we need. I needed that to quit smoking weed for good. I went back to weed and drinking, but nowhere close to as much as I was. And then I ended up realizing like, I don't need to rely on it. I don't need that. I don't need to smoke. If I drink, it's rare. But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I can control me now. I have control over this vessel, over who I am, what I do, what I say. That's pretty much all you can control, right? But it was hilarious, the psychosis. When I look back at it, everything was so like, it's very funny. And I'm glad I didn't hurt anybody. I wasn't planning on hurting anybody. And I did end up in the hospital though. After like, on the last day of the psychosis, like the last day that I was at home in the psychosis, my dad ended up coming here to check on me because my mom was in England because her mom had died. So it was my dad. He came checking me with my sister, screamed at me. I was in the bathtub naked every night screaming, and he ended up coming when I was in the bathtub, called the cops. I ended up getting put in an ambulance in a pink thong, my mom's Kegel beads in my penis area, and a fedora on. And there's a picture of that. I'll probably put it in the thumbnail. And I actually wrote a book where that's the cover of it. The book is called Psychosis, Crazy in an Insane World. It's on Amazon. I self-published it maybe half a year ago, maybe a year ago. I don't know. But if you want to check that out, I'll put that link in the description. It's pretty much about spirituality, mental health, addiction, sobriety, the psychosis, love, sex, that sort of thing. And I was in the hospital for a month. They put me on a whole bunch of prescriptions. I thought like for the first half I was still Jesus, and then eventually I came back to reality. Not completely, because I feel like it's good to be grounded, but also it's good to be in the ethereal dimensions of like thought and existence, and like be grounded, but have like some type of spiritual reality within you. And yeah, just like let me know if you have any similar experiences in the comments down below. I actually posted a similar video shortly after the psychosis, like maybe like 2.5 years ago, on my other channel called Spiritual Scott. Don't use that, but it did go pretty, like, not viral, but it got 5,000 plus views, 50 comments of people relating to that similar experience. So I hope I'm going to get even more traction on this video so that people can learn from it, people can relate, because I love to connect with the people that have been through that, because it's hard and there's a depression usually after a psychosis. So that's that. But thank you so much. Let me know in the comments down below. If you want to subscribe, I'd love for you to subscribe and like the video, share it, and maybe it can help somebody someday. And on that note, I'm Scott Vlad. I'm out of here. Peace.